You have a second refrigerator door in your kitchen that you're barely using, and it's costing you money every single week. I'm talking about your freezer. Most people use it for ice cream, frozen pizza, and maybe some ground beef. Meanwhile, the average family throws away somewhere around $1,500 worth of food a year. Milk that turned, bread that molded, half a bag of shredded cheese gone fuzzy in the back of the drawer. Every bit of that could have gone in the freezer, and almost nobody knows it. Freezing isn't complicated, it just stops the clock. The food doesn't get better, it doesn't get worse, it just waits for you. And the grocery store would much rather you didn't know that, because their whole business runs on you coming back to replace what you threw out. So today I'm counting down 15 foods you probably didn't know you could freeze. I'll tell you exactly how to do each one, and I'll be honest about the couple of things that change when you do, because a few of these come with a catch. Number 1 is the one that saves my house the most money every year, so stay for that. Let's go. Number 15, grapes. Wash them, pull them off the stems, spread them on a cookie sheet so they don't clump, then bag them up once they're hard. They turn into little frozen candies. My kids ate these all summer for years and thought they were a treat. They were fruit that was about to go soft. Bonus. Drop a few in a glass of white wine and it chills it without watering it down. They sell fancy whiskey stones for that job. Grapes are cheaper. Number 14, bread. Bread freezes better than almost anything in your kitchen, and yet people let half a loaf mold on the counter every week. Here's the thing, the refrigerator is actually the worst place for bread. It goes stale faster in the fridge than on the counter. But the freezer? The freezer holds it perfectly. Slice the loaf first, freeze it, and pull out 2 slices at a time. They toast straight from frozen. When bread goes on sale, buy 4 loaves. Now, a sale actually means something. Number 13, cheese. Now, here's your first honest catch. Soft cheese, cream cheese, brie, that sort of thing comes out of the freezer with a funny, grainy texture. Fine for cooking, not fine for spreading on a bagel. But hard cheese, cheddar, mozzarella, Parmesan, freezes beautifully with one trick. Shred it first. A frozen block of cheddar crumbles when you cut it, but shredded cheese pours right out of the bag onto a casserole like nothing happened. When cheese is $2 off a block, I buy 5, shred them all in 20 minutes, and I don't buy cheese again for 2 months. Number 12, butter. This one surprises people, and it shouldn't. Butter keeps in the freezer for months and months and comes out exactly the same as it went in. Butter goes on deep sale twice a year, around the holidays and around Easter, when the stores use it to get you in the door. That's when I fill a shelf. I have not paid full price for butter in probably 15 years. Just leave it in its original wrapper, drop it in a freezer bag, done. By the way, tricks like these, buying at the bottom and freezing, I've got a whole book of them. Every method I use to run this house for less, all written down in one place. It's on my website, the link's right below the video. Go grab it, I won't bring it up again. Number 11, fresh herbs. This one hurts my heart, how much money gets wasted here. You buy a bundle of basil for the one recipe that needed 2 tablespoons, and the rest turns to black slime in the crisper drawer. Stop doing that. Chop the leftover herbs, pack them into an ice cube tray, top each cube off with olive oil, and freeze. Now, when a recipe wants herbs, you drop a cube straight into the hot pan. The oil melts, the herbs taste fresh, and you just got 100% of what you paid for instead of 30. Number 10, fresh ginger. Don't even bother with the ice cube tray on this one. Throw the whole knob in a freezer bag as is. Here's the part nobody tells you. Ginger is actually easier to use frozen. It grates like a dream when it's hard, no stringy bits, no peeling, just run it over the grater right out of the freezer. Fresh ginger costs almost nothing per pound, but most people buy a piece, use an inch of it, and toss the rest. Never again. Number 9, tomato paste. You know this problem. The recipe calls for 1 tablespoon, the can holds 6, and the other 5 sit in the fridge in a little dish until they grow a beard. Open the can, drop tablespoon-sized blobs on a sheet of wax paper, freeze them hard, then bag them. Now you've got single tablespoons of tomato paste on demand for the rest of the year. Same trick works for leftover canned chipotle peppers, leftover pesto, leftover anything that comes in a can bigger than the job. Number 8, bananas. The store marks down brown spotted bananas because people think they're done. They're not done, they're at their sweetest. Buy the marked down ones, peel them, and freeze them in a bag. And I do mean peel them first. Freeze a banana in its peel, and you'll be out there wrestling it with a paring knife like it owes you money. Frozen bananas make banana bread, and they make the thickest smoothies you've ever had without buying a drop of ice cream. All right, we're about halfway. Everything so far has been snacks and cooking helpers. The back half of this list is the big stuff, the staples, the things you buy every single week, and that's where the real money is. Number 1 alone will change how you shop. Number 7, cooked rice. Rice is one of the cheapest foods there is, but only if you buy the big bag, and people don't because they think they'll never get through it. Here's how you get through it. Cook a big pot once, spread the extra flat in freezer bags, press the air out, and freeze them flat like little books. They stack, they thaw fast, and a splash of water in the microwave brings the rice back like it was made an hour ago. There's another reason I like this one. Cooked rice sitting around too long is one of those foods that can actually make you sick. The freezer stops that clock cold. Faster than takeout, safer than day 4 fridge rice, and it costs pennies. Number 6, buttermilk and heavy cream. Nobody finishes a carton of buttermilk. Nobody. You buy it for one batch of pancakes and pour the rest down the drain 3 weeks later. Freeze it in ice cube trays. Each cube is about 2 tablespoons and bag the cubes. Same with the last of the heavy cream. Now, honesty again. Thawed buttermilk and cream separate a little and look curdled. Give them a good shake or a whisk. They're fine for pancakes, biscuits, soups, anything cooked. I wouldn't whip thawed cream for a pie, but for cooking, you'd never know. Number 5, avocados. These things go from rock to ripe to rotten in about a day and a half. And they're not cheap. When they hit that perfect moment and you can't eat them all, scoop the flesh out, mash it with a good squeeze of lemon or lime juice. That's what keeps it from turning brown, and freeze it flat in a bag. Thawed mashed avocado won't slice pretty for a sandwich, I'll tell you that straight. But for guacamole and for spreading on toast, it's perfect. Buy them on sale at their peak instead of full price whenever the craving hits. Number 4, flour and nuts, and this one's really about protection. 2 things going on here. First, if you've ever opened a bag of flour and found little bugs in it, those bugs didn't crawl in at your house. The eggs were already in the bag from the mill. That's just how flour is. Stick every new bag in the freezer for 4 days when you bring it home, and that problem is over before it starts. Second, nuts are full of oil, and oil goes off. That's the stale, bitter taste in old walnuts. Nuts are expensive, so buy the big bag when they're on sale and keep them in the freezer, where they stay fresh for a year or more. They sell little clip-top canisters and pantry traps for all of this. Don't bother, the freezer does it free. Number 3, wine. The last glass in the bottle that nobody's going to drink, don't pour it out. Into the ice cube tray it goes. Frozen wine cubes are for cooking. Let's be clear, nobody's serving these at a party. But so many recipes call for half a cup of wine to deglaze a pan or richen a stew. And opening a fresh bottle for half a cup is how good wine gets wasted. Drop in a cube or 2 instead. Every pan sauce in this house starts with a wine cube, and I haven't opened a bottle just for cooking in years. Number 2, milk. Yes, milk. People do not believe me on this one until they try it. Milk freezes just fine. 2 things to know. 1, liquid swells when it freezes, so pour a cup off the top of the jug first or you'll have a split jug and a mess. 2, frozen milk sometimes looks a little yellow. That's nothing. It's just how it looks frozen, and it goes back to normal white when it thaws. Thaw it in the fridge over a day or 2 and shake it hard before you pour, because it separates a bit. Tastes exactly like milk, because it is exactly milk. When milk gets marked down near its date, that's not a gamble anymore. That's a gift. And number 1, eggs. This is the one, because eggs are the item whose price jumps around more than anything else in the store. One year they're cheap, the next year they cost what steak used to. And when they're cheap, everyone shrugs and buys 1 carton, because what are you going to do? They only keep a few weeks. Well, here's what you're going to do. You cannot freeze an egg in its shell. It'll crack and make a mess. Don't try it. But crack a dozen into a bowl, beat them like you're making scrambled eggs, and pour them into a muffin tin 1 egg's worth per cup. Freeze them hard, pop them out, bag them. Now you've got single eggs ready whenever. Thaw them overnight in the fridge, and they scramble, they bake, they do everything a fresh egg does in a bowl. When eggs bottom out in price, I put 4 dozen away. When the price doubles 6 months later, and it always does, my house doesn't notice. That right there is the whole game. Buy at the bottom, eat at the bottom price all year long. Now, a quick word of fairness before we're done, because I told you I'd be honest about the catches. A few things do not freeze, and no trick fixes them. Lettuce, cucumbers, anything you eat for the crunch, they come out of the freezer as sad, wet rags, because they're mostly water, and water freezing bursts them from the inside. Same with a whole raw potato. It goes black and grainy. Cook your potatoes first if you want to freeze them. Knowing what not to freeze saves you as much disappointment as the rest saves you money. One more thing, and then I'll let you go. Ever wonder why nobody told you any of this? Think about who does well when you don't know it. The grocery store sells you cheese this week and sells you the same cheese again in 10 days because the first bag went bad. The sell-by date on that milk jug isn't a safety line most of the time. It's a suggestion, and a very profitable one, because it trains you to throw out good food and come buy more. Nobody's scheming in a back room. It's simpler than that. A customer who wastes a third of what she buys shops 3 times as often. There's no money in teaching you to freeze the milk, so they don't. Here's your first step, and it's easy. Tonight before bed, walk to your fridge and find one thing that's about to turn the half loaf, the browning bananas, the last of the cream. Freeze it. One thing. Once you see it work, you won't stop, and your freezer stops being an ice cream box and starts being the best money-saving appliance in your house. And tell me in the comments, what do you freeze that I didn't put on this list? Somebody always knows one I've never heard of, and I swear I learn as much from you all as you do from me. I read every one. Next time, I'm showing you how I plan a whole month of dinners off one big shopping trip using that freezer we just filled up. That's where this really starts paying. I'll see you there.